Okay, we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is Tuesday, March 17th, 2020. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Minutes and reports received and filed? None. Commissioner Committee Liaison Reports? Upcoming meetings?
Everything's canceled. Almost. Not bowling, so if you're missing sports, you can come down to St. Thomas and watch us bowl Wednesday night. Tonight's Columbus Fish Fry is Friday. I think they're doing takeouts and drive-through. They will take it out to your car, so go out there and we still support our local nights. That is really about it.
You know if that was Central Commissioners meeting?
They got canceled. We got notice. Yeah, we were going to the lake tomorrow. Went Thursday.
We were supposed to have a Parks meeting today. It was canceled. Yeah.
So we got Cap Region Board meeting tonight and Legends Bank Board meeting tomorrow. And we've still, my chairman was here. We still got a bicentennial meeting at 3 p.m. And everything else has been canceled, so.
We
It's,
do have an employee handbook meeting on Monday, is that right? Okay.
okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, and the presentation of the bicentennial quilt has been postponed because there were quite a few there, and anyway, we might do that down at Osage Bend. I was thinking that might be kind of neat. Christy and I were at a meeting, but Judge Joyce, would you want to do a presentation on what you were doing at the courthouse?
Oh, yes. The Supreme Court. Oh, thank you. The Supreme Court yesterday at noon announced that all in-person hearings would be continued past April 3rd. So the first date that we will have in-court hearings will be April the 6th. They made an exemption for orders of protection or emergency orders. They are very limited. As a result, we have shut down the courthouse for in-persons. We are doing, excuse me. We're going to be doing in-person, no in-person cases. We will continue to do a jail docket because those are some protection rights that we'll be able to do by video. The lawyers will not be coming into the courthouse, as additionally they are at high risk, most of them, because they're old like me. And we have some juvenile cases that might be heard, but we are going to try to do as much by video as possible. That courthouse is going, we've got people that are out there in the front to tell them to track my case, get online so you'll be able to find out what's happening with your cases. They'll get new court dates, contact their lawyers. We will continue to do orders of protection, but we've decided that we will give out envelopes to people and they are to bring them back when they've been filled out so that we can continue to provide services. But that was by order of the Supreme Court, and that is for all the courts in the state of Missouri, all appellate courts and all circuit courts and all municipal courts as well. So that direction was given to the Jefferson City Municipal Court yesterday as well.
So one question, the courthouse is open.
Very limited open. If we are
You
open,
need to come in and get something from the clerk.
If
need a
you-
copy of your
if you want a
Or
copy,
you want to pay a ticket, or you want to go up to the treasurer's office, or public administrator, or
the public administrator, I've already been talking to them. They're going to have they want to have limited access to. So
will we
that-
have
that-
security there at
We've got
the
security
entrance?
at the entrance.
Okay.
If you want to pay a ticket, they'll have someone meet you downstairs. If they want to get a copy of an order, we can make it, but we're trying to limit as much foot traffic as possible. We have over 100,000 people that come into the courthouse every year, not including lawyers that are not counted. That courthouse we need to get it cleaned up and make sure that everything's, and not, we have a high-risk population that comes in that doesn't have a lot of access to health care on a regular basis, so.
Can they call the clerk's office and say, hey, I would need to come and get this? Will I be turned away or not? And that way they don't get here and then.
We will continue to serve the public. We will continue, if they need something, they would just write a request or tell us. If they call the courthouse, we'll get that to them, or we can mail it to
Call
them.
ahead anyway. And-
Yeah, we can mail it to them. Mailing it would be easier anyway, that way they don't get out and might run into someone, but that announcement went out yesterday, and we have a docket with Judge Walker that was scheduled for 9, and we looked at it, and there's hardly anybody out there. Pretrial's gonna be doing it by video as much to limit access to the, so they don't have to go over there. So we're rethinking how we do business. We have CaseNet, so you can see what's going on with your case, track your cases there, I keep on saying it, and contact your lawyer. That's the 3 things that we're telling everybody.
Are y'all doing weddings yet then, or are those canceled for the time being?
You needing to schedule something?
Now this just got turned on me.
Jeff, I don't know why
You walked right into that one.
Because that is news right there.
You walked into that one, my friend.
But I mean, weddings are being canceled, but
They are being canceled.
so are we gonna, for the time being, say, hey, we
I-
We have,
don't?
we only have them every other Friday. We haven't, so we just did them last Friday, so we'll see.
You can hit me later.
I'll let you know. I'll call your bride.
Hey, let me know if you have any openings.
I'll bring that up to the Chief Justice when I talk to him next about what to do about weddings. But we are really taking it very seriously, and we've been looking at this issue for the last week, how we could do it, and this
Well,
gives
that's
us
why I'm
guidance.
asking the question. As funny as it just was,
We need humor.
it's serious because people have, maybe they're canceling their honeymoons or whatever, but this stuff is all related to each other, so.
They can also get weddings online. If you go to Rent My Preacher or something, they could have one of their family members do it, so.
So I'm gonna go online and get my ministerial.
Can we put stocks out there in the courthouse lawn, and go back to where you just, public humiliation and put them in the stocks? Would that work for?
We're really trying to keep the community as safe as possible, and
I
I
know.
think everybody knows that. And I think the court is real concerned about our high-risk population that come in, and make sure that they're not getting sick from us, and we're not getting sick from them, and that can stop the community spread.
Yeah. No.
Exactly.
And no one comes to court voluntarily. They're mandated. So the jury trials are postponed for 3 weeks. I wanted to make that clear. The grand jury is going to be postponed, I believe, for 3 weeks, and we had a jury selection process, so that's going to be stopped for 3 weeks,
Okay.
or almost
Thank
3
you.
weeks.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
I think
I'm
Chris.
not asking any more questions today, by the way.
It was better when you couldn't talk.
Kathy probably watched this live.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and we will hold off on the presentation from the health department until they get here. Do we have any other commission comments?
I want to go ahead and do this EOC
Emergency proclamation? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yesterday at 1:45, the commission and the mayor issued a emergency government proclamation and a resolution of a state of emergency in Cole County and the city of Jefferson. And we voted and signed that yesterday. And so our EOC is up and operational.
And that's actually where Christie and them are right now,
So
so.
we probably ought to vote in this meeting to ratify that, because I know we voted to sign it yesterday, but it wasn't an actual meeting. Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree, Jeff.
yes.
so.
Okay. So we did vote yesterday, but so we're going to vote to ratify it today.
I would
Or
think
vote
so.
again.
I
Just
agree.
vote again.
So,
You could, or you could just ratify it because you didn't.
So
I guess
I-
you didn't actually have an official vote.
We did. I mean, it was an emergency meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we never called the meeting to order and had any minutes taken or anything like that. It was a EOC meeting that we voted in. And we were there.
Make
for-
a motion, we'll vote.
I think either way.
Okay. All right, so I move to ratify the vote from yesterday at 13:45 hours for the emergency government proclamation and a resolution of a state of emergency in Cole County, city of Jefferson.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Y'all did like it better when I couldn't talk, didn't you?
You're getting better, though. Be ready for that wedding before you know it.
I know. Judge, you would probably do a special,
She's already texted.
okay. Bids and contracts, signing of the Salute to America agreement.
You guys voted last week to go ahead and do that, but we did get the contract filled in, and if you would sign that contract. Vote to sign.
I move that we sign the contract with the Salute to America Foundation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, do we have any unfinished business? New business, accounts payable review?
Are we?
Wait a minute.
Yeah. I got, you got this new one here? You don't have this new. Signing
Oh,
of grant
oh,
for the
oh,
outdoor
okay.
warning system.
Okay, yeah, I got.
You got that?
Here, I got that one.
Working off the wrong
Okay.
sheet. Here you go.
You're on a roll today, Chris.
Signing of grant for outdoor warning system in Centertown. I printed that one off first.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
So if you recall, Commissioner, it was probably around the first part of February, I believe, we had the opportunity to apply for a mini grant through our State Emergency Management grant cycle. So basically, at the end of the year, all the money that is collected or not reimbursed to all the county emergency management directors through SEMA, that money is put into a pot and it's called a mini grant. So I applied for that because we was still in need to have an outdoor warning system put in at Centertown. That was back in 2012 when we started that. That was an area that we felt that we really needed one. So just the other day, Monday, we got a letter that we were approved for a $30,000 grant to apply for that. The total cost, and Alan is here with Centertown. I think this was something we've been looking at for trying to do this for a year now. But with this, it allows, there's no matching funds at $30,000 right up front. If you recall, we did this last year at Eugene. So it literally only cost the county a little over $5,000 for a $35,000 unit. So it would be up to the village of Centertown to pay that remaining cost. So the $30,000 would go to Cole County, and we'd have to pay for that, but then they reimburse the county whatever, anything over the $30,000. Same way we did with the city of Jefferson last year, if you recall, that was a 50-50 grant, so we only able to get $15,000. So the total for that would be $35,000, I think, $469. So all we have to do is sign the subrecipient award or the grant, get it ordered. It has to be installed before June 1. So we've got some short period of time. It takes about 8 weeks to get one in. Total cost was just like last year, $35,269. That's if we don't hit any rock clauses or anything like that. There again, that would be the responsibility of Centertown to pay for those extra costs.
So we just signing the grant award, or we signing the contract to get it installed, or both?
Well, there's a contract with Outdoor to go ahead and purchase it, but this is the grant award that allows us, once we get it done, like last year, we send the bill to SEMA. SEMA sends the $30,000 back to the county. So it's just a swapping funds, basically. So that would actually complete our 2012, 2013 survey of all the locations that we wanted. So this would alleviate that problem and help the village of Centertown as well.
Adam?
Thank you, Commissioners. I know when the tornado hit here in Jeff City, I did speak to Joe Commissioner Helsher right away, and he responded because there was supposed to be a community, public service meeting that day. And I got several calls from people in the area on why we did not have a tornado siren in Centertown. So at our meetings, we made it a point to make sure that we could apply for it. We worked with Chris Shepley and Mid-Missouri Regional Planning and Growth, trying to get it. We found out we weren't eligible through SEMA, so that's when I approached Bill to see if the county could help us with getting it through SEMA, and Bill had this option, and it worked out good. So the village is willing to take on the responsibility and get things done to help the community.
Okay. Thank you.
So with this installed, that would make 32 systems in the county and the city total.
So you got the grant award there,
Sure.
Bill? And then when will we sign the contract with them? Oh, that is the contract. Okay.
That's just getting started. Takes about 8 weeks.
And the city will then be responsible for the insurance and everything else on that.
No, Centertown, right.
Yeah, we'll have that added to our cost insurance.
Right.
Hey, Lynn, hand this to Bill.
You guys good?
Yeah.
I'm good.
I move that we sign the subrecipient award with SEMA.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Hang on.
We've been very fortunate. That makes the 3 systems we've been allowed to get in a year and a half, so that's pretty uncommon. I thank them as a nice retirement gift.
We'll never retire.
Yeah.
You wait till I find an old siren, it might end up in your yard.
Hello, siren.
Your name came up at some of our meetings here the last few days.
You might get volunteered
to do
Yeah.
Feel my ears turning red, yeah.
I'm gonna surprise you, but I was volunteering you.
Was you?
He's got this purchase agreement here too, but it's not on the agenda. It's purchase agreement. It's not on the agenda for this, for this outdoor warning consulting for the purchase of the siren.
Is that part of the grant?
Well,
That's just
And the
part to
purchase
get it
agreement
ordered.
is-
more or less,
Big
yeah.
part to get it ordered, yeah.
Yeah.
We had to do that
I'm
both
fine.
times before.
Moving forward on it.
Yeah.
Is that okay, Joe?
Yeah.
I move that we sign the purchase agreement with Outdoor Warning Consulting for the siren.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you
Yeah,
again.
thank you. Good seeing you
for
again,
your
Bill.
support. Yeah. Get that signed by.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah.
Bid award for 2020-0011 interview room recording system.
As you know, we've been having issues with this since we've opened the building. Well, you don't want that one.
Yeah, it's not the one you colored. You're still having trouble staying in the lines there, buddy.
Wasn't me.
Well, that's not near as fun then.
All right, so, you'll see there's 6 bids here. The 2 on the right were way too expensive. Then you see the 3 that are in the yellow, those are the ones that met the criteria, but only one of them met the whole bid, and that's Turnkey Mobile for $36,568, is that right? I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, so, our recommendation is we go with Turnkey Mobile, it is a local, vendor also.
Well, and you brought these in and we talked about it. It's the only one that met all the bid requirements.
Right.
So I'm okay with it. I don't know if y'all have more questions or not.
No.
I move that we award the 2020-0011 interview room recording system to Turnkey Mobile.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now do we have any unfinished business?
Yep.
Okay, new business, accounts payable review. Okay,
Karen said we had some cards or something.
But accounts payable, there was a painful, oh, sorry. I asked for approval of accounts payable pending review,
Some P cards maybe. Is that,
for utilities.
okay. All All right, I move that we approve accounts payable pending review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pretrial personnel.
We're gonna be discussing salaries and a qualification of two of the individuals. I thought that would be in closed session.
We have a closed session too. I didn't know which way it would fall. If we're definitely talking about specific people.
You're talking about particular individuals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we can go into closed session, and then if it's not falling under that, we can always come back out.
Okay.
Well, okay. We'll put that for that, then we
So
will
we've
go.
got that one, and then we've also got another one for EMS, so,
Two
Yeah.
personnel.
Yeah.
yeah, and he's down at the EOC right now, and
Okay.
I'll let him know when we got about 15 minutes, and he can come up here and address
Okay.
that.
Okay. Okay, so we will go to the draft of the Cole County website redesign reveal.
All right. Well, we have been working on
We're gonna
our,
be putting that on the screen.
yeah,
Lights off.
that'll be good. We've been working on our redesign of our website with our Civic Plus platform. We get one free redesign. And so they've been working on putting it together for us. I'm really excited about it. I think it looks really, really good. So this is the homepage. The top little bar there is gonna be much thinner. You'll have these little shortcut buttons on the side that you'll be able to, if you're wanting to go to the calendar and you don't wanna scroll down, you can just click on it, it'll take you right down to it. The buttons are different. I've had them add a button for photo credit because I want to encourage people to submit photos. One thing that we don't have that I would love to see is a good landscape orientation of the courthouse. I'd love to see the courthouse picture on the front page, but so far we haven't gotten one of those. This is like the little news announcements area where we can put information, and it'll be more visual in these little sliders. I also had them add a place for a Facebook feed on there from our colecounty.org page, because sometimes we get more diverse information going on that. So I thought that would be a good addition. And then you can also, excuse me, allergies. You can also, go to see all of the news. And they'll also be giving us a template for these boxes, so they're more consistent. Right now, we kind of don't have consistent sizing, and that's one thing I don't like about our current website. And then the calendar looks a lot better, I think. It's a lot cleaner, a lot sharper looking. I just really like this layout better than the one we currently have. And then you can also view all events just like you can on our calendar right now. And then this bottom part is just really clean. We still have, our tagline is down here now, and the individual cities are still here. So apologize, my voice seems to be going away for some reason. So that's the home page. This is an example of an interior page, one of the different departments' pages. It'll have a separate banner look. One thing that I did find out from them is that if different departments want to have their own banner, this wasn't an option without having a really big additional expense. But if, say, EMS or the fire, or not fire, if
Health.
EMS or health wanted to have their own banner
Public Works.
for a one-time setup of $263 per department, they could actually have their own banner picture. So if EMS wanted a picture of the ambulances in the background or whatever. But I think for most people, we can just kind of come up with a good generic, nice picture. Like this one is really nice. It, I think, goes really well with the website. The other thing is a little bit different is the navigation here on the left-hand side. Instead of popping out to the right and then dropping down, it'll just kind of go down, keep going down in here within the window. So, and again, the buttons are at the bottom, and this is basically the same. And this is the navigation for the top menu. It's pretty similar, but it just kind of drops down instead of, like I said, I think our current one expands to the right now. But I'm super excited about it. I think it's really pleasing to the eye. This picture that they've chosen for the demo is one that was submitted by one of our the people that answered our Facebook request for pictures, and I think it's a beautiful picture of the Morrow River. So I'd love to see more submissions from people, because I really think it brings our website to life, and I think it just makes people want to come to our county and see what we're all about. So, do you have any questions about it or comments?
So is there a way to link our Facebook pages and stuff into our website so that, I know the health department had something that they put out yesterday on COVID-19 that was on their Facebook page, but yet it's not on their website.
Yeah, and I see that the health department has embedded one, so I'll have to check on that. We don't currently have it. With our redesign, we will have one. Generally, whenever the health department posts something on Facebook, I see it pretty quick and share it out to our Cole County Facebook page. I try and keep on top of that if I think it's something that we really need to get the word out on. The other thing is I'd like to see us get our the declarations and things like that on the page. I don't have those. Let me open up our current Cole County website to show you what it looks
It's
like
right at the top of the page.
Yeah, it's slow.
But is that
It's
just the banner, and
spinning.
if you click on it, does that bring you to the health department? Brings you right to the health department, so
Yeah.
hopefully everything they've been putting on there in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, I don't know that the new, like, as you can see,
So since you
Julie
got that up
Cole,
now, the new banner at the top is gonna be gone, or it's gonna scroll up, right?
this part you mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be much thinner, so it won't be, the whole page will scroll. Yeah,
Good. That drove me nuts.
yeah. And this, we do have a new news release. Julie Cole has been working with me to get the information about the circuit court out. We could also add information about other things that the health department is putting out. But we do also have this that I noticed that Matt put out, I guess a couple of days ago, on our homepage, and this goes directly to the Cole County Health Department page.
It goes to the health department page, but we couldn't watch the press conference from there. That's what I was trying to get to the other day.
From the, did they live stream it
Yeah.
to their
Mhm.
Facebook page?
Mhm. Yeah.
We probably, and yeah, if I had known that they were doing that, I probably could have embedded it somewhere.
Okay,
But,
that's something we can work towards.
yeah,
Well, yeah, like
definitely.
I said, even the link to the Facebook page.
Right.
Yeah, and also if we wanted to live stream, any of these things, I actually just bought a new tripod, so I could actually live stream it from my phone, so.
Okay.
If that's something that we wanna do in the future, we can do that.
So we need to let you know then,
That'd be good.
Yeah.
because we'll probably be having lots of
Yeah, it was
press
so,
releases that we need that stuff out there.
we had so many, our times kept changing and everything Friday and yesterday, yeah.
Well, we did that live stream at that census thing that we did
Yeah.
at the city, and I didn't have a tripod at the time, and worked fine, but it was a little shaky, and so I went ahead and got a tripod because I've been wanting one anyway. So I thought, well, that'll make it easier to do a good, better stream, live stream. And I'm kind of new to live streaming on my phone, so it'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's all I have. I mean, would kind of ask for you to, I could email you these pictures if you want to look at them a little bit more closely, but I really am happy with the design. They've been real responsive when I've asked them to make changes, and they're really pushing it through pretty fast because they know it's our bicentennial. We're kind of their beta tester on this new process that tries to get these things accomplished faster, and it's working out really well. So
Rufus Harmon has some good pictures of the courthouse too, so
yeah,
the Bicentennial Committee's using those, so.
okay. I just want to make sure I have permission. And,
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
give credit whenever the
Yeah.
person that submits it wants
Yeah.
credit.
But I'll have Rufus send you, yeah.
Yep.
So those are just generic tabs on the left, I assume? I mean, obviously they'll have,
These right here.
yes.
These
No,
will be
the,
like-
next to the window, or the picture there, tier 1 sub configuration.
Yeah,
or what?
yeah. So these will be like, how do I apply
Right,
for
right.
whatever, and yeah, they'll be basically what we have now.
Right.
It'll just look a little sharper and cleaner. And if we want to change some of those things, also make it a little bit more user friendly, we can do that. Basically, it's just our content being moved into this new look.
I'm good with it. I mean, I would like to see health and maybe EMS and some of the others that they have a different page or something on there. I think that's a minimal expense to let you know kind of where you're at.
Yeah, and I think before it was more expensive, and I think they've gone down on the price of that, and it's a one-time setup, and I believe they can change those out as they want, so.
Or the sheriff's department or something, you know,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
that too. So obviously, you know, if you have sheriff's department and there's a car or something there that you know that you're on the sheriff's page and
Yeah.
that's where you need to be, and you know, obviously other pictures there too, but
Yeah,
pictures are worth.
it'll give more of it their own identity, basically, but still have the same general look and feel as the rest of the website.
Right. No, I'm good with you moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Have it done today?
She's good, yeah, I'll tell you what. With, between the census and Bicentennial, we've given her tasks to do, and she usually has them done.
It will be done pretty quickly, though. They're
Yeah.
really
Yeah, Melissa's good,
moving along with it, so.
very efficient.
Anything else?
Now there's Christie. Perfect timing.
Good morning. You're good. Sound like you weren't at another meeting or something.
Yeah,
I brought some rolls too, they're homemade. I made
not
them
by
at
you
home.
though.
I made them at my home, so they're homemade. I did, I even put icing on them this morning, I got up early for you.
Whoa. Presentation
Sorry
of
if you're on a diet.
coronavirus by Christie Campbell, the Health Department.
Would you like me to read the statement that I made yesterday, or would you just like a more brief update?
Why don't you go ahead and read it? Because
Okay.
Dick Aldridge, we forgot to invite him.
So, as you know, this is a highly evolving situation. We've been doing our best to stay abreast of CDC updates and make recommendations that coincide with CDC's recommendations. So, COVID-19 is a viral illness that originated in Wuhan City, China, at the end of 2019. The virus was initially thought to have been transmitted from animals to humans at a live animal and seafood market, and has since spread between close contacts in many communities and countries around the world. As of yesterday, there are currently 3,487 cases and 68 deaths in the United States. Although many have been tested positive in Missouri, there are currently 8 confirmed cases and 0 deaths. I think that number might jump to 9 this morning. Yeah. We still have no cases in Cole County and no evidence of community spread. The risk to the general public in Cole County remains low. Those at higher risk of exposure to COVID-19 includes those who have traveled to a geographic region of community spread, those who are household members or close contacts to positive COVID-19 cases, and healthcare workers caring for COVID-19 cases in the hospital setting. Onset of symptoms is typically 2 to 14 days after the date of exposure. Symptoms of COVID-19 for most people include fever, cough, and shortness of breath. If these people test positive for COVID-19 but do not require hospital care, they will be discharged to their home after discussion with the Cole County Health Department and guidance from Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. People who have chronic medical conditions, are immunocompromised, and the elderly are at this greater risk of symptoms requiring hospitalization. If you exhibit symptoms of fever, cough, or shortness of breath, call your provider before going to their office and do not go to the emergency department unless you have a medical emergency. Speak with your provider about recent travel exposure or contact to a positive case of COVID-19. If you do have a medical emergency, go to the emergency department or call 911. It's important to keep in mind that there are many viral illnesses circulating at this time of year, and at this time the risk of exposure to influenza and other viral respiratory illnesses is much greater in Missouri than the risk of exposure to COVID-19. Because of this, providers are encouraged to continue assessing patients and ruling out other viral respiratory illnesses. After ruling out other viral respiratory illnesses and consulting with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, testing for COVID-19 will be approved. COVID-19 diagnostic testing is available through the State Public Health Lab for individuals meeting the criteria established by Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. Requests for testing approval must come from a provider and should be directed to the Cole County Health Department or the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. They have established a special hotline just for questions and for testing approvals. That number is 877-435-8411. With the expanding spread of COVID-19, additional areas of geographic risk are being identified and the criteria for considering testing are being updated to reflect this spread. In addition, the criteria for testing have been expanded to include more symptomatic persons, even in the absence of travel history to affected areas or known exposure to another case, to quickly detect and respond to community spread of COVID-19. For individuals not meeting the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services criteria for testing, providers may wish to pursue private lab testing. Testing through private labs does not require Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services approval. As established by Missouri State statute, the Cole County Health Department is the lead agency regarding COVID-19 for Cole County. As the lead agency, we've been meeting with all the other response agencies in the county and city. We've been reviewing our response plans and getting protocols in place to respond in the event that we have ill persons in Cole County with COVID-19. As of yesterday afternoon, March 16th, the Joint Emergency Operations Center for Cole County in the city of Jefferson has been established. At this time, Cole County Health Department is implementing the recommendations of CDC to cancel or postpone in-person events that consist of 50 people or more. This action does not apply to schools, institutes of higher learning, businesses, or essential governmental proceedings. Mitigation efforts have begun across the state of Missouri, including Cole County, to help slow the transmission of disease, protect individuals at an increased risk of severe illness, and protect healthcare as well as critical infrastructure workforces. This has been a true collaborative approach with the city and county officials with guidance from the state and federal government. Yes.
Got an update on what's happening this morning, or?
In Jefferson City and Cole County or around the state?
Whatever you care to share. And if you don't
I
want to
guess
share anything,
I
that's
think
fine too.
I think that one clarification probably is warranted. So as I said, if people are approved to be tested through the State Public Health Lab, we are notified that they're being tested. If individuals are being tested through a private lab, we will not be notified that they are being tested. We will not be notified of negative results, but any positive results must be reported to the Cole County Health Department, just like all the other diseases that are in 19 CSR 20-20-020. I think there's over 100 of them that are mandated reportable diseases. As soon as COVID-19 started, they did an emergency rule and added that to the list of reportable diseases, because normal coronaviruses that circulate in the community all the time are not mandated reported to us, but COVID-19 is. So while there might be reports of individuals being tested through private labs, we won't know about that. So until there's positive results, we will not get notified. Does that help? And like I said, I heard a little media about maybe a 9th case, but I haven't seen where that is or if it's confirmed yet. And I looked at Department of Health and Senior Services website this morning, and it's not been updated as to the number of cases. It still says 8. And they've tested like 215 people, so that means 207 are negative at the State Public Health Lab.
Well, y'all continue to share stuff on your Facebook page. That's
We do.
very informational, that is helping people to plan and not panic and prevent a lot of this. And I loved your description of it, that y'all are like a duck, calm on the top, but they're paddling away like a dickens underneath. So
Right, I like to use
I
that.
stole that and I'm using that a lot.
Yeah.
There's
Like I
a
said,
lot going on.
we're like
We
the-
are very engaged in this.
Yes, you are.
The last, Friday and Monday, we sat in meetings and listened to a lot of stuff, so.
Seen us more than you care to, right?
We've got a lot of people that are leading our emergency operations stuff. Great teamwork too, including Sheriff. I'll even include you
Team
on that,
effort.
so, yeah.
It is.
You're good at volunteering people, so.
I'm just saying.
You've done very good, so.
Thank you. Oh, sure. I scribbled on it.
And our bowling is canceled.
Really?
Man, our bowling.
Can I ask you a question, Sam? Can I ask you a question over there?
Yes.
Only one.
What's the role of the EOC? I mean, why is the EOC open? What does that do that helps you do your?
Do you mind
your
answering
part?
that?
So-
I can talk public health all day long. When it comes to incident command and emergency operations center, I'd like to defer to the sheriff.
So,
Walk closer to the mic.
Face for radio, buddy.
I was gonna say that.
So the Emergency Operations Center there is just a collaborative effort to work through whatever emergency's been declared. So her being the lead agency on this, what it does is she's able to concentrate on the incident command objectives, which we have 7, I think there is. And then those are then divided down into goals on how we can accomplish those. And then it goes down to different branches on how to, and on who's going to be specific in accomplishing those different missions. So I don't know if I've made that clearer or muddier for you.
Well, is it open like 24 hours a day? Are you guys?
So we are doing a limited EOC right now because we're really not expending a lot of resources at this point. We wanted to go ahead and bring it up since the declaration by the governor and DHSS guidance and CDC guidance. But we needed to start documentation too, so we can start documenting what we're doing, because there's going to be money, there's going to be funds that the commission's going to have to spend, the city's going to have to spend, and this will all help in trying to get some of that money back after this is over with.
This is a unique situation because normally we have an event like the tornado and then the EOC is stood up to respond. This is unique because we can prepare. So instead of waiting until we had a case, we thought it was very prudent to go ahead and establish the EOC. That way, if and when we have a case, we're ready. Very proactive approach.
And you'll receive that information from the state health lab. They will report it to you.
Correct.
When they know that something, then you start your chain of command
Correct.
situation.
So we have briefings every day at the Emergency Operations Center. We have briefings every day. We have it's a 24-hour operating period that we work off of right now. So we'll have briefings in the morning on, it's called a tactical meeting. And we'll review what occurred the night before and what we're doing to complete those objectives. And then at 11 o'clock, we'll have an objective meeting with the policymakers, and then that will determine if she's decided to change some of our objectives because of what has occurred. And if we do change them, then we'll get that briefed out before the 12 o'clock beginning of the operational period again.
And if something changes, you will have a press release, a press conference. What would you do in that case?
If It probably depends on the situation. If it's a travel-related case, you know, we don't see a potential for community exposure, you know, we might just do a press release, but we will definitely communicate to the public. And there is a copy of the order that was signed yesterday about the events on our website and on Facebook, if you want to see that. And it has been a team effort. Jill was very instrumental in getting that done yesterday. Everyone's been great to work with.
When will the CDC update their guidelines, or do you have any idea if they will institute what the president sent out yesterday?
I'm not sure if they will or not. Last night we had a call with several other health departments, and DHSS wasn't sure. They had thought that the number would be at 50 and stay at 50, but then with the president's recommendations, it's likely that CDC will change their recommendations, and then we will as follows. So we'd be in trouble in here.
Mm-hmm.
So could
Oh wait, this is essential governmental
That's right.
proceedings. Never mind. That's right. Right.
So could you talk a little bit about, I mean, obviously, we're trying to flatten the curve, and
Correct.
everybody wants to do that, but, I mean, obviously, these guidelines are wanting people to stay at home and
Right.
try to minimize exposure to other people, and so,
Right.
you know, the idea is not to just be out of school or be off work and go visit all kinds of people, is that it's to stay at home and try to stop or slow the spread of this disease.
Right. So I can share this with you too. There's a really great document from CDC that's like implementation of mitigation strategies for communities. Right now, we're still in the none to minimal stage because we have no cases, the preparedness stages. But yes, once we get cases, or even now to prevent the spread, it is good for people to stay home. You know, there's a lot of information receiving that the elderly are the most at risk for complications. Like we said, coronaviruses circulate in the community all the time. Kids have it seems that kids have a higher immunity to that. So when closing schools and making those decisions, everything has to be factored in, because a lot of the times when we close the schools, who do the kids go stay with? Their grandparents. So we have to be careful about, you know, if people are closing schools and they're saying to stay home, you need to stay home and be aware of those elderly family members or those family members that are immunocompromised, because you don't want to spread the virus to them. You don't want to have one parent homeschool everybody at their house. You know, you really need to stay home. I know that we met with state leaders yesterday, and they were looking at their leave policies, trying to make them more flexible, trying to allow everyone to work from home if they can, reducing down to essential staff, because yeah, we don't want everybody going to the mall or to McDonald's Play Place or any of those other places. You know, if the guidance is to stay home, you really need to stay home. But like I said, the data is showing that the elderly and the immunocompromised are really the ones that are greater risk of developing complications from this virus.
So are we having a briefing today at 11? For all of us?
Yep, I just left down there and they decided to 11.
Okay, I just wasn't sure, so.
Okay, yeah.
What is the exact determination right now as far as food service and restaurants and that? I've heard that half of the seating capacity, less than 50, carry out. What does Cole County have from the health department at this point as far as restaurant service?
Because we're still in the none to minimal phase, we would follow this document, which I could look for restaurants, but we have not made any recommendations or mandates to restaurants at this time.
Okay, that's what I want to clarify since we have. Thank you.
Just one other thing, I mean,
Sure.
obviously, the CDC recommendations are for groups of 50 or more.
Correct.
Right?
Mhm.
And so you're gonna enact the enforcement of that policy.
Correct, we did that yesterday when we signed the
Right.
order. And there is also some language in there about increased cleaning and recommending social distancing, even for those groups under 49. So staying 6 feet away, increased disinfection of places, reminding people to wash their hands. Why we still have to remind people to do that, but we do. You know, just things like that.
And we'll be enforcing that if we find out about it.
Yes, so that's, I mean, we're looking for compliance, not enforcement.
Right.
But there is a RSMO statute, 192.020, that states that gives us the authority to go and tell people they need to disperse. Anyone that fails to do that, it's a Class A misdemeanor. But again, I'm really not concerned about Cole
Sure.
County. I think that they'll do what they're supposed to do.
It does
because it's
exclude businesses too, so I
Right.
think that's looking at factories and
Correct.
things like that too, so.
192.020 is actually attached to 19 CSR 20-20.020. 50, whatever it is.
40.
It's
Don't
actually,
be
You were
calling
close.
out on that.
it's attached to that one specifically. So whatever order that is given, that is signed by her. So if we end up doing, God forbid, we end up having to do shelter in place or whatever, I mean, that does give us the authority. But like again, number one, we have to prepare for the worst, but we hope for the best, and we hope that people listen and do like Christie said, they need to stay home. This isn't time to go visit grandma and grandpa and to go on that vacation to Vegas or anything like that. They just need to stay at home, watch Netflix.
We've been working very closely with the funeral homes. A few of them have very large visitations or funerals planned for this week. And even though it doesn't really apply to them as a business, they're still trying to heed our recommendations as much as possible because of the population that they serve. So I know that one of them still has one planned for Wednesday, but going forward, they're really gonna work with them. And another funeral home employee was in my office this morning talking about exploring options like driving up and having Skype, or, you know, that they're really trying to do everything they can to. Everyone's, I think, on board with us and wanting to do the best they can for the community.
When you look at all the entities this can affect, yeah, that's amazing.
Every
yeah.
person.
It's a huge effort, community effort.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody want to see this?
Okay,
It's an
if we
updated
got
version on
11,
CDC's website, but it's a good.
We better,
Go.
we better-
She could probably make you a copy.
I move we go into closed session pursuant to section 610.021 of the revised statutes of Missouri for personnel issues sub 13.
Second.
roll call,
Hey, Jen?
yes.
Jen? Yes, Jen,
Yes.
Do you want this?
when
Dick.
Matt comes out and talks.
Yeah, I think they're all